This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks play tonight. They start their West Coast trip. A very, very important West Coast trip, ladies and gentlemen. This could be the trip that defines the New York Knicks season. So let's talk about it. I got Steph in the building. I got Nate here with us. And we're going to break this one down. Steph, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Sim. Shout out to you, Nate, the chat. I'm looking forward to this game. I think we can get it.
I think we can. We beat them the last time, right? We beat them the last time we played them. Did LeBron play? LeBron didn't play the last time, right?
He did not. I think that was that one game suspension after the Detroit incident.
Exactly. LeBron didn't play the last time. So this is definitely going to be interesting tonight with LeBron James playing. He's questionable on the injury report, but it sounds like he's going to play. If you listen to the reports that's out there. We're going to go ahead and break that down in just a second. But let me get to Nate. Say what's up to Nate. Nate, what's going on with you, man?
How you doing, man? Yeah, LeBron on the Lakers, they're a totally different team. And so it's going to be interesting to see how the Knicks come out and compete. Because, you know, LeBron, he has a second gear about himself, and Davis has been playing well. So it's going to be a matchup.
It's going to be a matchup. It's going to be a matchup. I didn't have LeBron James in my starting lineup. Because earlier in the day, it seemed as though he might not be playing. All right, so I'm going to have to switch around my starting lineup to try to get LeBron James in there, assuming that he probably plays in lieu of Stanley Johnson or Malik Monk.
I think it was Monk.
Probably Malik Monk. So then maybe you're looking at RJ Barrett versus LeBron James. Is that what we're looking at there?
Probably. I wouldn't put Devin on him.
That could be interesting. That could be fun. We'll see. Let's take a look at the injury report, ladies and gentlemen. For the New York Knicks, of course, Derrick Rose is out, recovering from right ankle surgery. And for the Los Angeles Lakers, let's run down their injury report. Carmelo Anthony, he's out with a right hamstring strain. I think that happened in the previous game. Anthony Davis, he's probable for tonight. Sekou Doumbouya, he's in the G League. LeBron James, the report says questionable. This was the 7:30 report, but other reports saying that he's going to play. Kendrick Nunn, he's out for tonight. All right, so that's your injury report for the Los Angeles Lakers. Steph, just really, really quick. Nate started to touch on it. How do you think this changes with LeBron James out there? Just with the way. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's a tougher game if he plays. No doubt about it. I'm not sure I'm pretty sure they have a better winning percentage with him playing than not. And at this age, it's just amazing the impact he's still having on the game and on the Lakers. Like, they're still dependent on him. Yeah. Not just to contribute, but to win.
Right.
I mean, well, what am I trying to say? Like, they still contribute heavily.
To play at a very high level
on him. Yeah. To play at a very high level, yes.
Yeah, that's it is crazy that, at this age, he's still, able to, basically be in the MVP conversation every season. Yeah. And I've never really been a huge LeBron James fan. I'm not even gonna lie. Right? Yeah. Never been a big fan of LeBron James, but it is what it is. You can't deny his ability
Yeah.
to just dominate the basketball game. And he's dominated the game for, I don't know how many years now. He's been dominating the NBA. Before we start to really break down the lineups, is there anything about the lineups that stands out to you before we even really get in and just break it down?
I mean, go ahead, Steph. Okay.
No.
For me, the Lakers are built around 3 players mostly. I mean, Monk is kind of a player that can come in and play well, but for the most part, they're built around 3 good players. And, the Knicks have a lot of depth. They have a lot of talent. And this game could be had, but fortunately, 2 of the best players on the Lakers team are arguably tops in the NBA in some areas. So,
yeah. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
All
I would say briefly that they have very good players, but similar to us, they don't seem to fit that well. And I think that's been the issue with them, and that's somewhat the issue with us as well. So this could wind up being a very close game.
Right. Could be. Ladies and gentlemen, you're checking out the Game Day pregame show. Please make sure you check out thegameday.com. There's a link in the description of this video. And for all of your up-to-date sports content, and betting odds, make sure you go to thegameday.com. Our projected starting lineups for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for the New York Knicks, you know who it is. Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. For the Los Angeles Lakers, Russell Westbrook, Avery Bradley, LeBron James, Stanley Johnson, and Anthony Davis. Now, is LeBron James playing the 4? Is he playing the 3? It's semantics. He's playing whatever he plays when he's on the floor, whatever he wants to play. He's going to be the lead guy that's out there, right? It's no 2 ways about it. The thing you look at, it seems like there's kind of matchup disparities all across the board, right? But the fact that the Los Angeles Lakers do not have good chemistry right now definitely plays in the Knicks' favor, but there's matchup issues everywhere, right? You look, if LeBron James is playing, then clearly R.J. Barrett or Julius Randle is going to need to guard LeBron James, right? You got Kemba Walker. I'm not comfortable with him guarding Russell Westbrook.
It's hard luck.
So do you put Evan Fournier?
Avery Bradley?
So this is where it really gets a little bit sticky. How do you, how do you guard them? All right, in the last game against Memphis, R.J. Barrett guarded Ja Morant.
Right.
All right, and Kemba Walker, although he's 6 foot, was playing defense on Zaire Williams. Although Zaire Williams is 6'9", but because he wasn't considered to be a scorer, Tom Thibodeau put Kemba Walker on Zaire Williams, and then he went and scored 19 points.
Exactly.
Season high.
Right?
Career high.
Career high. So here's the question. How do you make these lineups work? Can you take and put R.J. Barrett on Russell Westbrook, Julius Randle on LeBron James, and then you have Evan Fournier guarding either Avery Bradley or Stanley Johnson, and Kemba Walker guarding one of those 2 as well? Because Kemba Walker can't guard Russell Westbrook. There's no way you're putting Kemba Walker on Russell Westbrook. The same way you wasn't putting Kemba Walker on Ja Morant.
Right.
So how do we make that work? Steph, what do you think?
I'm saying put Kemba on Bradley, put RJ on Russell, Julius. Oh, wow. Because do you really want Randle guarding LeBron James? Right? And then that would leave Kemba with Stanley Johnson. Stanley Johnson is a big No, I'm sorry. That would leave Fournier with Stanley Johnson.
And he's a very athletic
and
man.
He's not very tall, but he's stout and pretty strong. So this is a matchup nightmare.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I'm not sure what is the best way to go about it. You know, the only reason why I think I agree with what you just said. R.J. Barrett guarding Russell Westbrook, Julius Randle guarding LeBron James, because I do believe that size and strength-wise, Julius Randle matches up with LeBron James better than R.J. Barrett. Better, right? Size and strength. You know, so I think that's probably a better way to go. Besides instead of and then obviously Julius Randle is not going to be quick enough to stay in front of Russell Westbrook. So that's probably how you have to go.
Right.
R.J. Barrett on Westbrook, Julius Randle on LeBron James, and then figure out who's going to play who. I guess you're right. I guess it's going to be Kemba Walker and Avery Bradley, and then Evan Fournier and Stanley Johnson, because I think Stanley Johnson's about 6'6", 6'7", right?
Yeah, a
Somewhere
thick one though. And I don't know if we're going to break these down individually. I have concerns with Mitchell Robinson and Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis can put the ball on the floor. You remember when we played Minnesota and when we played Cat? He got into foul trouble, because Cat was putting the ball on the floor, going to the lane. He doesn't have that type of lateral speed.
Right.
He struggles against scoring centers.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess let's go ahead and let's break it down individually, and we'll break it down by the matchups that we just talked about.
Okay.
Right? Because that's probably how the Knicks will be defending the Los Angeles Lakers. So let's start with Kemba Walker and Avery Bradley. All right. How do you see that matchup working, if indeed that's the matchup?
It could be even some, but lately Kemba hasn't been aggressive offensively. Right? If he was aggressive offensively, he can even win the matchup. I mean, Avery Bradley from what I remember, I don't think he's the defensive stalwart he used to be, but he's still pretty good defensively. Mm-hmm. But he's not a great offensive player. But lately, Kemba has not been aggressive at all. So I'm going to say it's a wash.
Yeah. Nate?
Yeah, I agree with Steph. I think that the knee has been a big problem, and why Kemba has probably lost a lot of his pop when he tries to get in the lane. He's probably become more of a jump shooter. It is a pretty even matchup. Bradley has shot well lately, and he is a good defender. Kemba can get buckets. I mean, if he's hot, he can get buckets. And he's gonna need to get buckets for us. We're gonna need a lot of people to score baskets tonight. I probably agree. It's an even matchup. There's not really maybe Kemba slight advantage over Bradley.
Kemba Walker did an interview yesterday for a practice interview after practice, and one of the things that he was asked is basically about his performance, and he was talking about the difficulty that he's having in his new role. Basically, is what he was saying. In his new role as, for the most part, an NBA professional. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't have the speed. He doesn't have the ability that he had years ago. So now he's a
That's not what you
third
want to hear.
Fourth option, right? Or if that, you know what I mean? Really just somebody to say, hey, we're gonna use you to get the ball around the perimeter, to swing it to the other guy, and he's struggling. I don't think he's struggling with the role, but struggling and figuring out how to play the role.
Right.
And, maybe, and I'm not trying to make any excuses for him, but maybe, and what you see on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, right now are projected defensive matchups for the New York Knicks. All right, so the guy you see across from the New York Knicks starters is the guy that player would probably be defending, that we think might be defending. But what Kemba Walker was saying is, he's trying to figure out how to play in this new role, and he's struggling with understanding how to play in this new role. And I tell my players all the time, play, don't think, or don't think, play. And if he's thinking and trying to figure it out, it could explain some of the, just inability to really get into rhythm because he's not sure on how to play this role. He better figure it out because on just about every team, any team that he goes to after this, he's going to be playing that type of role.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So he better figure it out pretty quick. I don't know. It's tough. Avery Bradley is a good defender. They are two guys that are just a little bit older and
right.
I don't know if they're on the last legs of their career. Avery Bradley probably still has the same role that he's always had in the NBA, so he's pretty used to what he does. Evan Fournier, Stanley Johnson. Stanley Johnson, he's a good defender. But Evan Fournier's been playing good basketball right now. And I think Evan Fournier should have the advantage in this matchup. And the Knicks will need Evan Fournier to perform well versus the Lakers in this matchup and win his matchup tonight. I think it's going to be imperative. Steph, do you think he should win that matchup?
I do. Stanley Johnson will be aggressive and try to bully him when Stanley Johnson has the ball. But I don't think Stanley Johnson can guard Fournier if Fournier is being aggressive. If he's getting the screens, if he's coming off those screens really looking to shoot, I think he should win this matchup.
Yeah. Nate, what do you think? Stanley Johnson and Evan Fournier.
Ooh, that's a good matchup. I do think Evan should win the matchup because of his ability to come off screens and shoot the ball at a quick rate. Stanley Johnson is a good defender. There's a reason why they brought him back and they gave him a contract. He's a very athletic wing, and he can definitely get into Evan's airspace and make it difficult for him.
Yeah.
The thing with Evan is, I think Evan's going to have to maybe be a little bit more aggressive at taking it to the cup or at least do it in the mid-range. Because I don't think Stanley's going to give him a three. I think he's really going to try to be on him the whole game.
Yeah, it's no doubt about it. I think he is going to try to be on him the whole game. People know that he's starting to play well. He's on everybody's scouting report, and they know he's starting to hit that three. And he's shooting it at a high clip over the past, 10 to 15 games. He's really shooting the three at a high clip. So he's definitely one of the keys to anybody's scouting report. I'm looking in the chat, and Andre Bryant said, switch Avery Bradley with Westbrook. I disagree. I don't think Tom Thibodeau is going to have Kemba Walker guarding Avery Bradley. All right? Remember, what you see on the screen is not the starting lineups. You know what the starting lineups are. These are the projected defensive matchups for the New York Knicks.
Right.
That's what you see on the screen. The projected defensive matchups for the New York Knicks. All right. And that's why I think R.J. Barrett and Russell Westbrook, I think R.J. Barrett's going to guard Russell Westbrook. All right. A tough cover, without a doubt. Russell Westbrook is a ball of energy. R.J. Barrett's going to have to be on his P's and Q's with Russell Westbrook. What's your take on that matchup, Steph?
RJ can win it. I think Russell Westbrook is inherently, it seems, inefficient. So if RJ Barrett plays, pretty good defense, that shouldn't be a problem. The thing with Russ is he still gets his counting stats, but with LeBron and AD back, maybe he won't get as many touches. So I think RJ can win that matchup. I think RJ would need to be efficient himself. I mean, Russell Westbrook is a capable defender. I just don't think he puts the effort in, on that end of the court. So I think RJ Barrett could have a very good game tonight. And I think that he could win this matchup. I really do.
See, what scares me about Russell Westbrook, not scares me, but it don't matter if he's shooting good or what. He's coming at you. Yeah. He's coming. And it just makes you have to stay on point and be focused the entire time you're on the floor if you're guarding this man. Because if not, he'll keep coming at you, and eventually he'll turn it on, right? Because he's still coming at you. Nate, your take on this matchup?
the best thing about Russell Westbrook is his worst traits. Is the fact is that he's an amazing guy to get into the paint and be aggressive at any time, but he is very inconsistent in the shot. Also, too, he turns over the ball at a high rate. So if you just give it time, he's going to mess up himself, you know. And RJ needs to understand that there might be some battles where he might get by him, but for the most part, if he tries to keep him in check, I think he'll be okay because, you know, Russell Westbrook, I'd rather take Russell shooting a jump shot than driving into the lane. And RJ's going to have to just make sure to keep him in front of him as best as he can possible.
Yeah. Okay. Now, it looks like it was announced that Malik Monk is going to be starting instead of Avery Bradley.
A little bit of a difference.
And that it makes a difference.
They heard our show. So, you know what? We're going to change that.
It makes a difference, right? Because now Kemba Walker, you still figure he's going to be guarding Malik Monk.
Right.
It's a bad matchup for Kemba.
Yeah, I don't think unless maybe he does guard Stanley Johnson and Evan Fournier guards Malik Monk.
Stanley Johnson would take him down in the post every time.
I know.
He should.
I mean, you know, the only reason why I asked that is because that is what Tom Thibodeau did in the previous game, right? But maybe he learned his lesson from the previous game because, you know, he scored, Zaire Williams scored 19 points, his career high, with Kemba Walker guarding him. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see.
Malik Monk's been balling out, too.
Yeah,
so that's no scrub.
He's been hoping.
Yeah.
He's definitely been balling. As a matter of fact, R.J. Barrett and Russell Westbrook is the Thrive Fantasy matchup of the night, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
That is the Thrive Fantasy matchup of the night. R.J. Barrett's averaging 17.5 points a game, 5.7 rebounds, 2.5 assists, shooting 41.4% from the field and 35% from the three-point line, shooting 69.4% from the free throw line. Now, of course, R.J. Barrett over the last 15 games is averaging like 22 points, 22 or 23 points per game, and his three-point shooting has gotten much better over the last 15 games. All right, so we'll see if he, you know, stays on that pace tonight. Russell Westbrook for the season, he's averaging 18.7 points per game, 7.8 rebounds, 7.7 assists per game, shooting 44% from the field and 30.5% from the three-point line. He's also not a great free throw shooter. He's shooting 67.4% from the free throw line. Thrive Fantasy matchup of the night, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. Go to thrivefantasy.com, use the code NBK, and get 100% of your first deposit matched up to $100 at thrivefantasy.com. There's a link in the description of this video. If you click on that link, you don't even need to put in the code because it's already there. The Thrive Fantasy matchup of the night. I think I am going to take R.J. Barrett tonight. Because, you know, R.J. Barrett is more important to the Knicks than Russell Westbrook is to the Lakers. Exactly. I think. Right? If that makes sense. You know, especially with LeBron James being back. Now, if LeBron James wasn't there, I think that's a different story. But with LeBron James playing, I think R.J. Barrett is more important to the Knicks than Westbrook is to the Lakers. And that's the reason why I think R.J. Barrett's going to have a better night tonight because the Knicks just need him to have a better night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every night. He needs to come bring his A game.
Exactly.
Period.
Exactly. No doubt about it. LeBron James and Julius Randle. What do you think about that matchup, Steph?
I'm going to give the edge to LeBron James. I don't know which Randle is showing up tonight, though the past two games, he's been a bit more engaged for a longer period of time. LeBron is just another level, even at, 36, 37?
Right.
He gets up for the Knicks. They're not playing well. LeBron can have a triple-double tonight, you know?
He will.
But I also think Julius is going to play well also. That's his old team. So I still think that he's going to play well also, but I have to give LeBron the edge given what I've seen from Randle this season.
Right. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Nate, any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's LeBron James, Hall of Famer, top 5 player. I mean, I think it's going to be, I think they'll both get their baskets tonight. The only thing worries me about Julius Randle is he's going to have to hustle on the fast break because, LeBron likes to get out and run, especially when you got Russell Westbrook, you got Davis. They all play with good synergy. I mean, Randle's got to hustle. He cannot cry about fouls. He can't do any of that. He has got to get back on defense.
I agree.
If not, LeBron James will eat him up.
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like Julius Randle can have a good night. I think it's going to depend on how the Lakers decide to defend Julius Randle. If they feel like LeBron James can stick with him one-on-one and they do not send a double team, I think Julius Randle can have a good night. And this is not me saying that, he's such a good player that he can beat LeBron one-on-one, but Julius Randle can score the basketball. So I do think if they go one-on-one, Julius Randle will have a little bit more freedom to go inside. If they don't send a double team is what I'm trying to say. A little bit more freedom to get inside, penetrate to the basket, and not worry about that double team like he normally has to. We'll see. If they feel like LeBron James can defend them one-on-one. The thing about LeBron, he's so smart and has such a high basketball IQ. I feel like, any weakness that Julius Randle has on the defensive side, LeBron James can and will exploit it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's where it really does start to get, it gets scary for me because you already know what LeBron James can and will do. You know what I mean? That's going to be a fun matchup. I don't know if, since Randle's been on the Knicks, has he matched up against LeBron?
I don't think so. I remember him and AD.
Right.
I remember him and LeBron.
LeBron played last year, right? Against the Knicks.
Did he?
I believe.
But I don't know. But I don't know. Because I know in the first game, I think DeAndre Jordan was starting. I think, and AD was playing power forward, and Julius Randle matched up against AD. Julius Randle loves that matchup against Anthony Davis. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember the first play of the game. In the previous game, AD was guarding Julius, and Randle took it right to the cup, pushed AD out the way, and scored a layup. I think Julius Randle knows that he can overpower Anthony Davis.
Well, when you're physical with Anthony Davis, that's his weakness. He's not a physical player. He's more of a finesse player. So, yeah, I mean, we could see a matchup like that at some point if they switch. It depends, whoever they like.
Yeah. That's I'm interested to see. I just don't know how much he's gone up against LeBron James. And so if that is the matchup tonight, that should be a fun one to watch. Mitchell Robinson and Anthony Davis. I mean, it's a lot of good matchups across the board in this game. A lot of good matchups across the board. That's what makes it so interesting. Steph, I know you said you had some concerns about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, Mitch can have some pretty good stats, and just in terms of just points, rebounds, blocks. But AD is another. He's another level. And it's how he gets his points, the many ways he can do it. I'm picking AD over Mitch, but Mitch will not be a slouch in this game. I'm still expecting a double-double with more than one block shot.
Yeah. Okay. I think he can. I think he'll get that as well. Nate, any thoughts about this?
Yeah, AD is probably arguably one of the most talented centers we have in the NBA. The two things from Mitch that I really want to see from him tonight is keeping AD off the boards, especially the offensive rebounding, and his perimeter defense has got to be on point because AD can take shots from anywhere on the court, and Mitch has to know that. And Mitch cannot jump when AD's shooting and get a stupid foul. Like we've seen that way too much with Mitchell.
Right.
We need him all game tonight because if Mitchell gets in foul trouble, I don't know who's gonna guard AD. Nerlens sure as heck can't do it. Jericho's no.
Well,
Taj maybe.
Randle.
You know.
Randle.
Randle,
I think,
yeah, they might have to switch to Randle.
I think what'll happen if Mitchell Robinson were to get in foul trouble, I think you would then see Julius Randle guard Anthony Davis, R.J. Barrett guard LeBron James, and then Quentin Grimes probably come in. Quentin Grimes or Burks come in and guard Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Either way, we want to keep Mitchell on the court, so he needs to stay out of foul trouble and keep and be on point tonight with defense.
Without a doubt. What do you think about the bench? The benches. How do you see that matchup?
I still like the Knicks. I still like the Knicks.
Especially with Melo not playing.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, Melo is balling this year.
Yeah.
He's playing a good, efficient basketball this year. So, you know, without Melo, you know, the kid Austin Reeves can play. He's a rookie. He can play.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got some size with Dwight Howard. You got Trevor Ariza on the bench. You know, he's not the same Trevor Ariza, but, you know, he's there. You got Kent Bazemore who can get hot. I still agree. I think that the Knicks bench should win. Steph, you was getting ready to say something else?
We just got to show up, you know, like Quick struggles some games. Obi's been playing well of late. Burke has been up and down, more down than up. Noel can barely stay on the court. I hope he's available tonight. So, yeah, I mean, they just have to show up. If they show up, they definitely have the edge.
Yeah. Nate?
Yeah, I take the Knicks bench all day, every day, easy, even with Melo. Our bench has been one of the strongest points of this team. The one thing I will say with this bench is that when LeBron goes out of the game, the Knicks bench needs to do some work, because that's when he goes out of the game, they're a totally different team with AD. So when he goes out, they need to do some work and get some points up. Either he has the lead, build it, or we need to come back, get closer. Shoot. So that's really what I'm gonna look for the bench tonight.
LeBron been out for a little while. If this game is close, you might not see him come out for a little while.
Yeah, right.
You know, he's got fresh legs, and they're in the type of situation that the Knicks are in.
Yeah,
they're in the same type of situation. You know, when you talk about really having to get wins, they're 25-28. The Knicks are 24-28.
Well, whenever he gets his mandated break. So, they need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, right. I mean, he will. He will. Maybe. You know, I'm just saying that because, you know, this game is so important for them as it is for the Knicks. You know, LeBron to be like, yeah, just keep me in the game. I ain't coming out.
And it's LeBron. You know, his body's built for it.
Yeah. You know, right now the Lakers are 9th in the Western Conference. You know what? They have a nice little cushion over the Portland Trailblazers, though. The Lakers are 25-28. They're in the 9th seed. The Trailblazers are 21-32. They're in the 10th seed. And, you know, they just made a couple of moves that, you know, or a move that I don't know how that's going to help them right now. You know what I mean? I know it cleared some cap space and things like that for them. They might be looking to break that thing down. They say that they're still trying to build around Damian Lillard and you know, create enough space to put pieces around them, and they're going to be active at the trade deadline and stuff like that, but I don't know what's going on out there. But anyway, the Lakers have a nice lead over them out there in the Western Conference. The Knicks, on the other hand, they're a half game behind the Washington Wizards for the 11th spot, and they're a full game behind the Atlanta Hawks for the 10th spot. And the Hawks right now are 8-2 in the last 10 games. So, you know what's funny is who would have thought when the season started that we'd be talking about two teams that were probably should be in the playoffs right now are fighting just to get in. Right. It's crazy. Right. It is crazy. It is crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, the Los Angeles Lakers on the season, they average 110 points per game. The Knicks average 104. The Lakers, 44 rebounds a game. The Knicks, 45.6 rebounds a game. The Lakers average about 24 assists. The Knicks 21.3, 8 steals for the Lakers, 7 for the Knicks, 5 blocks for the Lakers, 5 for the Knicks. 14.1 turnovers for the Lakers. The Knicks at 12.8. But I tell you what, the Knicks have been turning the ball over a lot more lately. All right, over the last 5 games, I think they average about 15 turnovers per game. The Lakers shoot 46% from the field, 35% from 3. The Knicks are 44% from the field and 36% from 3. The last time they played, and the Knicks lead the series 1-0, the Knicks won the game 106-100. They out-rebounded the Lakers by 2. Both teams had 23 assists. They were close, almost even in steals. 7 for the Knicks, 8 for the Lakers. 4 blocks for the Knicks, 3 for the Lakers. The Knicks had 17 turnovers, though. They won a game, but 17 turnovers. All right, only 12 for the Lakers. The Knicks got to take care of the ball, man. They can't, you got LeBron James out there. He's going to make sure his team capitalizes. Got to take care of the ball. The Knicks shot 45% from the field, 44% from 3, and the Lakers shot 37.4% from the field and 30.6% from 3. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, the Knicks play the Lakers in a couple of minutes. It's on ABC. We're going to do our quick keys to the game and then get up out of here. All right, so we can catch the game. This is the Game Day pregame show, ladies and gentlemen. The link is in the description of this video. Please make sure you check out thegameday.com so you can see all of the sporting odds across different betting platforms. All of them are out there, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you check it out. So my keys to the game for tonight, and I'm going to do this really quick. Play focused and with desperation. I think they got to play with desperation for the foreseeable future. Execution. Make sure that they execute. Execute hurts this team a lot. Execution hurts this team a lot. Be physical with Anthony Davis. Take care of the ball. Play with pace. And then rebound and play some transition defense. Those are some of my keys to the game. Steph, any keys that you want to add?
The same one, Sam. Your best players have to show up. So Randle, RJ, Fournier have to show up today. And I always love number one, play focused and with desperation.
Yeah.
And the other ones as well, but that's what sticks out.
Yeah, that's a big one, especially right now. But ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your time. Catch us after the game. I don't know, I guess probably 11:15 or something like that. As we break down the game on a post-game show. Enjoy the game, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
This is MBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's number one show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.